Hey, Brent Long sitting out here in my shelter house at Long Haven Retreat, just admiring a beautiful October day. It's very quiet, it's very peaceful. Hear the birds in the background, seeing the leaves starting to change color. And I have been contemplating something for a while now and thought, well, I might as well sit down and just get this off my chest. So here we go. Thanks for tuning in. Got a question. Why do the words provoke or provocative carry such a negative meaning in our world today? The words provoke, provocative, if you look those words up, over half of the explanation of those words is used with a caution to anger, conflict, sexual desire, sensuality, things along that line. And I'm wondering how we as a society got to that point. Because the Latin word for provocative is provocare. Provocare. It means to call forth or challenge. Call forth, call it out of somebody, or challenge it to bring it out of somebody. You know, some synonyms of the word provocare or provocative would be cause. I'm reading this. Provoke, induce, produce, elicit, arouse, stir, raise, challenge, spark, incite, invite, rouse, or wake. Those are just some of the synonyms that are associated with the word provocare or the word provocative. The word provocare itself in the Latin literally means to provoke, to cause, to produce. It would seem like those are positive words, not negative words. So I guess my question remains, why have we gotten to the point in our world where the use of the word provoke or the use of the word provocative has so many negative connotations around it? I was looking for an example that I could think of that had really true powerful and positive implications, positive connotations, and I was led to Hebrews chapter 10, verses 24-25 in that area. Something that I've been teaching for many years is what I call the three lets of practice. And in Hebrews chapter 10, we find what I call the three lets of practice, L-E-T'-S, the three lets of practice. In verses 24 and 25 specifically, we find these words, and I'm just going to read them to you. And let us consider how to stir up one another to love and good works, not neglecting to meet together as some have chosen to do, but encouraging one another as long as we can. That is provocative. That is to provoke. Why is it so negative that we would provoke one another to love and good works? Why is it so provocative that we would have statements that would be so negative, that we would have provocative statements that would encourage one another to love and good works? Why is it such a provocative thing in the marketplace today that we would expect, that we would stir up our teammates to love and good works, to serve one another very well, to do the best that we could possibly do to take care of a client? Why is it in the world of sales that when somebody asks a question because they're looking to get more discovery and they're looking to go deeper into the core of what's really going on, they could be accused of provoking or being too provocative? I just want to tell you something, straight up. I remember years and years ago, I was in Bulgaria. Back in 2010, I was in Bulgaria with a group of men, and I took a group of businessmen from the United States to Bulgaria to help many of the Bulgarian pastors and many of the Bulgarian churches understand what it looked like to live out your faith practically Monday through Saturday in the marketplace, not just on Sunday when you were sitting in a service for a couple hours. And so I was chosen to go along, and I went with this group, and part of my job, as I take it, is to provoke, is to be provocative, is to stir one another up, to cause, to produce, to elicit, to arouse, to raise, to challenge, to spark, to incite, to invite. I take that as my job. I'm very serious about that as my job. I'm very focused on that as my work, right? One of the compliments that I was given while I was in Bulgaria from a gentleman on the trip with me: I don't know that I've ever met someone more provocative than you. And I said to him, thank you. I will receive that as a compliment. Because if we understand the real true root definitions of the word provoke or the word provocative, we can accept the fact that there are going to be people, humans, who are going to take it and distort it and twist it and make it something that it's not intended to be, which will then be thought of as negative all the time, right? But if we understand that the synonyms are found in Hebrews chapter 10 on letting us consider how to stir up one another, how to provoke one another to love and good work, how to be provocative with one another, to keep each other in a position of loving and doing good work amongst each other, to help us encourage one another, to help us accomplish things, to call forth out of our lives, out of our skills, out of our abilities, things that we may never have been possible, even thought possible, that we would accomplish had that other person not provoked us, not stepped into our life to encourage us, to challenge us, to ask us questions, to uncover a deeper ability or a much more practical skill that I had been ignoring. You know how many people in my life have stepped into my life to provoke me to become the man that I am today? Countless. I couldn't keep track of that. And yet, we live in a world that wants to tell us provoking and being provocative are negative. I don't accept it. I do not accept it. I work with business owners down through the sales department, people every day who are trying to get better at what they do. People every day who are trying to improve performance. And I am not going to pussyfoot around acting as if they have accomplished the greatest sense of accomplishment in their life thus far. No, I am going to provoke them. I am going to be provocative. I am going to challenge them. I am going to stir them up. I am going to elicit and arouse and spark and incite and invite them to up the ante, to get better and better and better at what they do. That's my job. And I will say it this way. If you are one of the people who have a problem with that, maybe this is the last video of mine that you should tune into. Because I don't accept the fact that provoking and being provocative are just negative. I believe they are positive when we utilize them to serve other people and help them get to a place in their life they would not otherwise get to. That's my rant for today. I had to get this off my chest. It's been eating at me for a little while, and I had to bring my Bible and my journal and a cup of coffee, and I had to just take some time out here in this shelter house just to, all right, Lord, am I off base or am I not off base? Read your Bible, Hebrews chapter 10, verses 24 and 25. I challenge you to do it. See, there I am again, provoking. All right? Thanks for tuning in. Good luck, good selling. God bless.